Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new edition of the Daily Debate. In tonight's show, we're going to be taking a closer look at COP27, slated for next November in Sharm el-Sheikh, the Red Sea resort, of course. We're going to be taking a look at Egypt's efforts to really synchronize all the domestic and international efforts and priorities towards making the COP27 a successful summit. But before we start doing that, let's check out some of the stories making the news today. And we'll start off with President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, who held a meeting on Monday with head of the German railway company Deutsche Bahn and chairman of the Saudi electric company, Engineer Ahmed al-Suwaidi, in the attendance of Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, Minister of Transport Kamel al-Wazir. During the meeting, al-Wazir reviewed the Ministry of Transportation's efforts to reach an agreement between the Underground National Authority and the German company on operating the electric rapid trains 3 lines in Egypt, which reached 2,000 kilometers, with the partnership of the private sector represented by a Saudi electric firm. In this context, President al-Sisi stressed Egypt's appreciation for the German expertise in the field of management and operation systems and directed to start reaching a deal with the company and to boost technical qualification for human cadres through benefiting from the German experience in this domain. For his part, Bahn expressed gratitude for meeting with President al-Sisi and affirmed his company's keenness on fostering cooperation with the Ministry of Transportation in implementing the electric train project. He also praised Egypt's developmental achievements during the past 3 years under the leadership of President al-Sisi. President al-Sisi also on Monday directed the optimal usage of all the area in Alexandria port through benefiting from the international expertise in operating and management and in a way that enhances the comprehensive development in Egypt. The President's directives came during his meeting with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and Minister of Transportation Kamel al-Wazir. Presidential spokesman Bassam Radi said that the meeting tackled the projects currently implemented by the ministry all over the country. During the meeting, al-Wazir reviewed the ongoing developing process of all the country's ports, especially Alexandria Grand Port, Dakhila Port, El Max Port and Alexandria's main port. The minister has also reviewed the development process in Sukhna Port and its logistic facilities. And President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi today as well received a phone call from Jordan's King Abdullah II, where the king expressed his condolences for the victims of the fire in Abu Sufyan Church. King Abdullah expressed his condolences for the families of the victims and wished a speedy recovery for the injured. Earlier in the day, President al-Sisi received cables of condolences from world leaders and heads of states for the victims in Sunday's fire at the Martyr Abu Sufyan Church in Giza district of Mbeba. Russian President Vladimir Putin sent a cable to President al-Sisi wishing a speedy recovery for the wounded in the accident. Also, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres expressed sincere condolences for the Egyptian government and people. The Greek Foreign Ministry also expressed grief over the fire, expressing solidarity with Egypt at this sorrowful accident. Meanwhile, Austrian Foreign Minister offered condolences for the Egyptian people over the accident, and a funeral was held for 41 people who were killed in a fire at the Abu Sufyan Church located in the Mbeba district at Giza Governorate. The services were held at the Virgin Mary and Angel Michael Church in the Waret district in the Giza Governorate late on Sunday. These were all the main stories making the news today, and on behalf of myself and at Nile TV, we offer our deepest condolences for the victims of the Abu Sufyan Church fire that took place yesterday, and hopefully a speedy recovery for all the injured. And now moving on to our topic tonight regarding Egypt's efforts for the success of COP27 conference later in November this year. Now Egypt is prioritizing Africa's case in the global fight against climate change. Let's check out this report and we'll be right back. Egypt is hosting COP27, the UN Climate Change Conference in Sharm el-Sheikh, on behalf of the African nations. It is a turning point in global solidarity on climate action and an opportunity not to be missed. It is not only a chance to advance Egypt's climate action, but also to speed up the implementation of its Vision 2030 strategy that is well aligned with the UN 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda, the 2015 Paris Agreement on Climate Change, and the 2063 African Agenda. Egypt's Vision 2030 has placed equity, human development, risk reduction, adaptation and resilience building at the heart of its priorities. This is in addition to mainstreaming sustainability considerations into the national policy framework. Egypt has also emphasized its need for international support on finance, technical assistance and capacity building to address the harmful impacts of climate change. The National Climate Action on Mitigation and Adaptation would require approximately $73 billion over the 2020-2030 period. Such an estimate needs to be updated and revised upwards in light of the emerging issues on the national, regional and global scenes, particularly in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic that led to fiscal pressures in both the developed and developing countries, and the Russia-Ukraine war that affected the global economy and energy sources and prices. It is also important to work on aligning the mandate of the financial sector, banking and non-banking, with Egypt's aspired transition to a more inclusive, green and resilient economy. It would be useful to provide financial institutions with explicit incentives to promote sustainable and climate finance, hence increasing funding flows towards social, responsible and environmentally friendly investment. In this respect, the Arab countries could start working on a collective basis to develop a sustainable and climate finance taxonomy tailored to better reflect the region's sustainable development financing needs and priorities. The recent amendments to Egypt's public-private partnerships law represent a key step in the right direction, and it also is important to work on developing a pool of bankable investment opportunities while working on aligning private incentives with public interests. Finally, conducting major awareness and educational campaigns about the merits of sustainable development has become a must to reach out to the layman and to ensure support and buy-in for ongoing efforts on Egypt's path to a more inclusive, green and resilient economy.